happy day, I'm glad. And I try to be the best parent I possibly can to my son, my golden son, Twinkie. But I've heard so many stories, especially because I talked to a lot of you guys, about some parenting techniques that apparently are quite widespread throughout the parenting community. So honestly, I'm at a point now where I will believe anything that I hear because it gets pretty ridiculous out there. This video is called My Parents Hid a Secret About My Body for 10 Years by My Story Animated, and we're gonna check it out. Why would parents do that? Who knows? Let's find out.
Hi, I'm Dora, and let me tell you right now that I can't believe that something like this happened in my family.
She kind of looks like Dora the Explorer, hey? All right, Dora the Explorer is having some problems at home. She can't believe this happened.
One day I came back to my house and saw our town priest in my house talking to my parents. They looked all very serious while they were having their conversation. After they finished, my dad went upstairs and my mom stayed with the priest in the living room. I could hear that they were talking about something.
Yeah, they're getting a little close there. Getting a little close, although, like, you know, starting it out with like the priest with the, like this smug look on his face, giving some advice, I'm a little nervous.
I couldn't hear everything because they were whispering.
Money?
Then she gave the priest a handful of cash. I saw him smirking at her like a little devil.
Okay, that can't be good.
And then he touched her leg and she hugged him. I wanted to gag. What the actual... I eventually gave up on the eardropping and went to my room.
Okay, so the mom is having a family meeting with the priest. This seems to have pertained to the daughter, although the daughter wasn't involved. She was just like listening in on it. And doesn't look good to me.
That night, I couldn't sleep at all. I woke up the next day, unable to get my mind off what I saw. So I lied and told my mom that I was going to school, but I skipped school and I headed to the local church.
Oh, she's playing a little hooky. She's playing a little hooky right now. One time I got an in-school suspension for thinking about playing hooky. I walked to the end of the field and was considering leaving, but ultimately chickened out. And then when I got back, they were like, you are suspended. And I was like, but if you wanted me to be at school, why would you suspend me? And they were like, no, in-school suspension. I was like a pretty good kid, but that was one of my embarrassments. My parents would have been mad, but they wouldn't have called this guy over.
I saw the priest wandering around in the church, and after a while, he entered the confession room. I followed him, and I entered the room across from him. I began by telling him, "Bless me, Father, for I have sinned. It has been a while since my last confession," to which he replied, "Go on, my daughter." I then told him that last night I saw my mom sitting with a man other than my father, and that I was planning to hurt that person really badly.
This got right into it. I wonder if he's like, oh, you can't blackmail me. I'm too important for this.
The priest seemed quiet for a moment, but then he told me that sometimes our loved ones make mistakes and that we shouldn't take matters into our own hands.
That reminds me of that Kimmy Schmidt episode where like the husband cheats with the therapist and the therapist is like, we should probably be chill about it. Of course the priest is like, well, yes, in this instance we must forgive. But like he's definitely in the wrong here.
But then I interrupted him and screamed, "Consider this a warning, you jerk." I stormed out of the room in a hurry. Luckily, he didn't see me. But days later, I was shocked to see that the priest had visited our house again.
What is he doing here?
It was still very early in the morning, and my dad wasn't home. I sneaked into our backyard and tried to peep through the window where they were. I was tiptoeing, trying to see what they were doing. It was very hard to see anything.
Okay, why doesn't the mom go to the church and talk to him there? Like, there's a confession booth that seems to have open vacancy. Like, why does he have to come to the house? And also, like, why isn't he afraid at all? This craziness is transpiring that the daughter's got her eye on him. If I was him, I'd be awfully paranoid after that confession.
But I took a glimpse and saw them passionately kissing. I was so shocked that I actually fell down and made a noise. My mom came to check where the noise came from and saw me hiding there.
What does this have to do with your body? Okay, your mom is having an affair with a priest. That's a mess. But what does this have to do with her?
She was so angry, and she started screaming. "Here is my troubled girl I told you about."
Oh.
I'm the troubled one? She's the one who was making out with a priest a moment ago. I then looked into my mother's eyes, and I called her, which made her even more angry.
The censoring is very interesting. And also the mom like wears the same very interesting red dress every single day. Nobody ever changes their clothes in these.
And before I knew it, I felt the priest's hand grab me, and he dragged me aggressively to the living room. He then started mumbling all these prayers in Latin.
Maybe he was like speaking in tongues. I hear that's like kind of a normal thing that some people at some churches do. Like maybe he was doing that and it kind of freaked her out a little bit because she wasn't used to it.
And splashed me with stinking water.
Stinking water? Wait, did I hear that correctly?
He then splashed me with stinking water.
Stinking water? Okay, let's go. I can't find anything on Google, so we're just gonna have to grant that priests carry around stinking water.
And told my mom, holy water should shoo the devil out of her. And then he left. Mom then told me that I was grounded for calling her a and I went to my room. I was planning to keep my mom's secret for the sake of her marriage, but now that she was treating me like crap about it, there was no way I'd give her a break.
Why didn't she try to talk to her mom about it in the first place? Like, why did she go straight to the priest? Everybody in these situations, this is like watching an episode of The Kardashians, right? Where like nobody fully and sincerely communicates. Everybody just like takes it to the next level in a direction that escalates the conflict.
I had to expose them, but I couldn't just tell my father. He
Why
would
not?
never believe me.
Okay.
As I was in class planning my revenge, the principal announced that we will have the priest coming to our school to make a speech.
Of course. I forgot I'm watching an episode of Riverdale, so sure.
And that's when I came up with this plan. Of course, my mom would have to come to school if her daughter did something bad. So, while the priest was doing his speech, I started calling him bad names and throwing paper at him.
That's a good way to get an in-school suspension, girl.
And I even made him slip and fall in front of the whole school. The principal was very mad and even wanted to expel me from school and call my mom to come and pick me up, but the priest said, no need. I'm fine and no one got hurt.
This guy's like overconfident, like God complex kind of dude right now, and he's making me nervous. And also, like, I don't know, I feel like the like-dislike ratio on this is pretty hefty, and it might be because like he's wearing an actual religious symbol, and it's like just not a good look, especially given the fact that this story, I don't know how true it is.
The principal agreed and let me off with only a detention for a week. I got back home from school, and my mom said that tomorrow we will go to the church because it is my parents' anniversary.
What? Why? Why would you go to the church on your anniversary? Don't you go like for Sunday? Don't you go on Thursdays for youth group? Like, don't you go all the time? Like, why would you go for the anniversary? And like, how is the dad okay with this? Like, the dad is a very just kind of like out of the picture kind of dude right now. Maybe he's got his own stuff going on. Maybe he has his own plans to make this worse.
Not again? I was tired of seeing that ugly priest every day. We got to the church and we went inside and sat. We arrived just in time for the church service. During the prayer, I started to think that maybe I was wrong and that the whole thing was just a big misunderstanding.
Now you come to that conclusion? But wait, you saw them making out. What? He must be a very compelling speaker, this guy. He must be the kind of guy that like gives you a change of heart even despite an overwhelming amount of evidence against him. He comes up there and he sings like Mariah Carey and everyone's like, wow, I believe him.
But when I looked up, I saw the priest winking at my mother during the service.
He's really pushing it,
I looked
though.
at my mom straight away and saw a nasty smile on her face. What a sneaky woman.
How is the dad not seeing this?
How did my dad not notice them? Is it just me? Like, how could it be? At that moment, I couldn't control the anger in me.
Is she hallucinating maybe?
So I yelled in front of everyone, "My mother and the priest are having an affair!" Everyone looked at me with shock. My parents stood up immediately, and as my mom dragged me out of the church, I could hear her saying, "Sorry everyone, my daughter didn't take her medication today."
Oh! Whoa, that's nasty. That is nasty, that is disgusting. I guess like you can never underestimate the power of denial, hey? Like if you just like really deny something, I guess everyone around you will believe it. Like if I was in this situation, I'd be like, I don't know what to believe right now. I just hate how people use the like medication thing to discredit something somebody is saying. Like it's kind of toxic, low-key.
When we arrived home, Mom forced me to go to my room. I gladly did because I didn't want to see her face. After 2 hours, I wanted to get out to get something to eat.
Ooh, hungry.
I tried to open the door, but then I noticed that my mother had locked me inside.
Well, every bedroom has a window, so use it.
"I'm hungry," I yelled. But then I heard a noise coming to my room. My mom started screaming in a really scary voice. She called me ugly names and told me that I should die.
Okay. What is going on here? And why is the dad looking so evil?
My dad was laughing loudly in the background. I was so afraid that I actually went inside my bed, hid under the sheets, and closed my ears. I don't know how much time passed before I woke up, but when I did, I noticed that there was food left near my bed.
I say don't eat it. It's poison.
I didn't want anything from them, but I was
I wouldn't eat
seriously
that.
hungry. When I took the first bite, I snapped as my mom stormed in the room. She said, "I prepared food for you so you can take your medication." In her hand, she had lots of pills.
Okay, what is up with these stories and medication and like medicating people? It makes me so sick. It really, really does. Like, I understand that this is like a popular thing right now, and I understand that like this is the thing to react to right now, but like this is just it's just gut-wrenching. It just makes you sick.
She started to force the pills into my mouth. I screamed that I don't want to. And I grabbed the chicken steak on
Hit her
my
with the
plate
turkey.
and I threw it in her face.
Nice!
So she called my dad. He came storming in. I can't remember what happened after they gave me the pills. I slept and woke a while after. I woke up in a strange room.
Nobody in these stories ever calls 911. And I know, it would make a bad story if, you know, like she realized something was wrong, she called 911, and then that's it. But like, it would be cool if they could at least write into it like she tried to call 911, but it didn't work. Like there needs to be something like that so I can like suspend my disbelief and like try here.
I didn't know where I was. I then heard noises coming from downstairs. I knew I must run away as fast as possible. I got out of the window. I ran fast. I did not even look back.
Yo, it's 7 minutes in. What's the secret about your body for 10 years?
I ran and ran and ran until I was too tired to move. But then I realized that I don't know where I should go. I felt scared
Oh, well, definitely don't go to the church.
and just didn't know what to do. And then I saw a house that looked very familiar. I remembered that my childhood friend lives here, so I decided to stay at his house.
I guess it is a small town. She knows where people live. Maybe she can tell them about what just happened. They can get arrested and the story can end.
He was the only person I had left that I trust. I arrived at his place, but I couldn't knock on the door because I didn't want to wake his parents up. I climbed on this branch that was close to his window and went inside. Samuel was asleep. I didn't want to wake him up, so I laid next to him in bed quietly and fell asleep.
This is not what you want to do when you sneak into a guy's room in the middle of the night. Like, you definitely just want to like give him a little tap and say like, hey, I'm in a situation right now that's kind of scary, so like, shh. But like, he's gonna wake up and be like, ah! Like, he's gonna wake up and think that something horrible happened.
The next morning, I woke up to Samuel screaming hysterically.
Of course.
Who are you?
Wait, what?
What are you doing in my house?
There must be something wrong with her. Like, she must be hallucinating somehow. Maybe she imagined that the mom and the priest made out. Maybe she imagined that the wink happened, and maybe she imagined that she's friends with this Samuel guy. But then how would she know upon walking up to the house that Samuel lives there and how to climb into his house?
I said, It's me, Samuel, relax. You'll wake your parents up. But he didn't relax, and he started calling his parents nonstop. So I jumped out of the window and ran away.
When your imaginary friend turns out to be an actual guy who doesn't know you.
But then, I started thinking about how my problem had started, and I started making the connection. It was the priest's fault.
Well, duh! Whoa, Captain Obvious just figured it out. I can't believe it.
He knew everyone in town, and they all respected him. He must have been convincing everyone that I was possessed or something because I exposed his secret. I had to find that priest. First, I had to buy something to eat with the little money I had. I went inside a grocery store and I saw Jasper, my friend from school, working as a cashier. He saw me, yelled, "OMG, is that you, Dora?"
Somebody recognizes her.
And then he hugged me. I started crying in his arms. He was the only person who was nice to me since a long time.
Since a
So I
long
decided I was
time.
gonna tell him my big secret. I found out that my parents are not my real parents. I think they adopted
Indeed.
or kidnapped me. They were abusing me for reasons I don't know, and I am trying to find my real parents.
How did she come to that conclusion? Is she just making this up here, or is that like her actual conclusion that she came to?
Jasper seemed shocked. He gave me food and told me to wait for him 1 hour until his shift is over. He promised
Oh,
me that
Jasper.
he will help. I waited for an hour and a half,
We love Jasper.
but Jasper never showed
Oh.
up. I thought he bailed on me. When I was about to
We
leave,
hate Jasper.
I felt a hand grab me, and then Jasper said, "Let's
We
go."
love Jasper.
I told Jasper that if anyone knew where my real parents were, it would be the priest. I don't know why I thought that, but I had a strong feeling about it.
Call it faith.
He got on the train and he sat next to me, and he hugged me the whole time. I cried as I told him about all the bad things that were happening to me lately. He dried my tears and said that he is here for me.
Do we trust Jasper? Leave a comment. Do we trust Jasper? Because I don't know. This seems kind of like too good to be true. The fact that Jasper like took too long, I feel like Jasper's like, got her! I'll take her to the church right now and pretend that I actually care about her. She's spouting off some crazy stuff about how her parents aren't her real parents. I don't know.
And that I shouldn't worry. I thought about kissing him at that moment,
Okay, let's calm down.
but I stopped myself. But then I looked up, and he was staring into my eyes, and then he kissed me.
Okay, what is going on?
We were interrupted when the train doors opened. He grabbed my hand tightly and led us out of the train. As we arrived at church, I told Jasper that we should go inside.
You know, Jasper, you might have liked her all this time. Maybe not. Maybe you just realized you like her now. But like, she's obviously going through some stuff right now, and I really don't think that right now is an appropriate time to move in for the kiss. Like, I'm just absolutely disgusted. Like, you could at least wait until like she's in a good frame of mind before doing something like that. Maybe all the guys in this town, like, when the women are like upset about something, they're like, come here, give me a kiss. Because that seems to be what the priest did with the mom.
There were a few people getting ready for the service that was about to start. And when I looked around, I saw him, the priest. OMG, I found him. I told Jasper to hold my stuff while I go closer. When I was close enough,
I'd bring Jasper
I
with you.
pulled out a
Okay,
knife
don't
from
do that,
under my
girl.
jacket with a quick move. I hit the priest.
Why would you do that? I can't believe this. Oh.
Well, almost. Jasper's hand was holding my wrist, and then he screamed, "What are you doing?" Everything around me after that seemed blurry.
What are you doing? I thought that you wanted to find out where your parents were. Why are you trying to shank the priest?
And then I passed out. I woke up next to find myself in the hospital tied up. My parents
My so-called my parents? Who edited this script?
came in and sat beside me.
Okay.
They started explaining to me that I was suffering from
Sure.
a disorder called schizophrenia and that I was hallucinating and imagining stuff the whole time because I wasn't taking my medication.
Maybe this is 51st Dates, the animated story version.
They said that everything I told Jasper about them not being my real parents, abusing me, and the evil priest were just thoughts I created in my head, and none of it was true. After hearing this, I started sobbing. Both of them hugged me while I cried and apologized for what happened.
Maybe she has taken her medication now, and the parents were actually nice people the whole time. I feel like so much of it is like not adding up. And that maybe they were really negative people in her life before, and they were just like, yeah, that was hallucination, who knows?
Shortly after, they left the room and told me to get some sleep and rest. I asked if they could untie me before they leave, and they happily did that for me. Of course, I was not a fool. Their people were professional liars. I just wanted to give myself some time before I planned my next escape.
Oh no, don't be doing that. So this is like potentially a sick girl, and they're kept the fact that she's sick away from her for so long. Like it seems like maybe they should have lived with like a nurse, or maybe it should be more protected. But none of this is really making sense. What do the comments make out of this? Oh, everyone thinks it's Dora the Explorer. Her, I feel like nobody wanted me anymore. Her again, throws food at mom, climbs into friend's window and tries to stab someone. This isn't even about her body, it's just about how she thought the priest was affair with her mom, but it was an illusion. I really do feel like this is a very high level of clickbait, unsettling level of clickbait, because it had nothing to do with her body. Maybe it had something to do with her mind. Like there was an affair in it. There's like just like all this crazy stuff going on. In the end, like they can write such an insane story and then just in the end blame it on schizophrenia. I don't know, guys. I want to know how this animation made you feel, because for me, I mean, and you guys probably know from like the last ones I did, like with Lauren and by myself, that like every time I react to these, I'm like, hey! But it's also like super interesting because the pacing of these stories, and like just the different themes they use as vehicles for the story. It's really interesting to see like this sensationalized version of storytelling. I mean, this is like a similar reason why I watch a lot of reality TV, is because the way that these people attract eyes and keep the eyes, it's super interesting to me, but it's also like unfortunate. It's also very unfortunate. I hope you guys enjoyed this video though. Make sure you hit push notifications if you'd like to see me do some commentary or play some games again, and I will see you on the next one. Bye!